So, I mean, for the powers that be, war is good, good for them in many ways. Not only the money it generates, but also the sacrifices that the soldiers' deaths bring. I mean, it's pretty.
War is a fantastic way to keep people at a low ebb, to keep the world at a low ebb.
Yes.
When we see the likes of the cenotaph, which is basically an obelisk, which is a symbol of Osiris, who is god of the underworld. Remembrance, it means to remember, but it also means a souvenir, a token. So Remembrance Parade is telling you that they are a souvenir, they are a token. They're basically basking in the energy of sacrifice, because they're sending these young men and women to die on the basis of lies. And we saw it in Iraq, and how the likes of Tony Blair are still walking as a free man is because he's been protected. Because he lied to Parliament, he lied to the British people, and thousands of people have been murdered and killed on the basis of that lie. And now we're seeing the exact same Russia. When Theresa May turns around and says it's most likely they've done it. Well, I've been into so many different high courts of this land, and if I went before a judge and said, well, he's likely to have done it, I know how long I'll be standing in the dock for.
Absolutely.
If you're going to say these things, you need to prove them. But again, the media rally around it and start telling us that these Iraq's bad, Libya's bad, Syria's bad. What they don't tell you is this is all part of Greater Israel, which is the Zionist plan. With a world capital of Jerusalem. And it just so happens that Donald Trump has just given Israel Jerusalem. When you can understand the pieces being moved, if you're watching a game of chess and you understand the moves, you understand the game. And I think more people need to understand the game.
Yeah, definitely.
I've read about this Great Israel project. That's been laid down a while, hasn't it? Really, because they're never going to do it in one fell swoop, because then people will see. It's got to be little bit by bit.
It has to be, otherwise it'd be too obvious.
Exactly.
It's like now children are given fingerprints and palm prints for school meals. My local council are operating drones in the sky. And it's that. Again, it's that totalitarian. It really is that tiptoe, because it needs to be under the radar.
I mean, they'll introduce the certain aspects of it bit by bit as a benefit to us, won't they? They'll tell you, this is because of this, but they won't tell you the real reason.
Well, no, I mean they'll tell you that.
Because they have to set to us.
Of course they do. Microchips are good. Let's start with prisoners so they can't escape and be a danger to the public. Let's start with babies. So if somebody tries to steal them, the alarms will go off.
Great idea. It's a fantastic idea. I think it's amazing.
Let's do it. But that's how they're working.
And
they give you this positive. But they don't say the negatives.
You'd be like saying, forgot your credit card? Don't worry, you got this chip. You just have to do that.
Exactly.
Passport.
But at the moment, your card isn't working. So what do? You get some money out of your wallet and pay for it. If you're completely reliant on that chip and they want to shut you down,
exactly.
You are completely stranded. You're completely isolated. But it's just strange how they're doing it. It really is. Have these vaccines because it's good for you. Okay, well, I was at a hospital when all the doctors were refusing to have the flu jab. Why? They know something. Why didn't Tony Blair and Cherry Blair let his children have the MMR vaccine? Because they know something. Why didn't Bill Gates let his children get vaccinated? Well, he's telling everybody else to get vaccinated because he knows something.
You see, and this is what people aren't thinking, are they? The people aren't questioning it in that critical kind of manner, But it's so simple, really, isn't it? When you think about it, it's so simple. Just you see that, and in normal circumstances, you would question things like that, wouldn't you? Between people that authority, if it's come from authority, we're just told we should trust what they say.
Of course.
Well, people just can't believe that, the American government and certain other countries would cause an explosion on 9/11 in New York.
Would kill their own people.
But then you look at Pearl Harbor, and they knew it was going to happen, and they did nothing about it. If you look at the Northwood files when JFK was president, and the CIA were planning to bring down an American airliner. And blame Fidel Castro so we could go to war with Cuba. If you want to see what's happening now, just look at the past.
Because they're
doing the exact same thing. So if you don't believe that they would do this, you know, they knew about Pearl Harbor months before it happened. But they needed to change public opinion to join the war.
Of course,
So if they can do it then, why can't they do it now?
It's just right, and people all, when they question it, they're more question defending, you know, the people on the planet, not humanity. You know, they'll try and defend that and not the real. You know, what's going on. You know, they'll say, well, you know, so many people have to know though. You know, well, no, not so early. You know, not so. You don't work. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think to question the real story for a lot of people, it means then changing their whole perception.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
So
That's the. It's a big jump for them.
It's a big jump.
to just go. Oh actually to do, because they've got to change the whole thought process, aren't they? Pretty much. You know.
I think it may seem in a sort of perverse way, but I think some people enjoy a certain level of control because it saves them taking responsibility. And it makes them reliant upon, you know, the government and society and the establishment, because they don't want these revelations. They don't have to face up and actually deal with it. So just keep shut off and just do what you need to do. You don't have to go into that worrying area of insecurity.
I mean, we kind of talked as well, almost just to think about your own life, your own little bubble. You know, pretty much. You know, and by not giving us enough time to think anyway. You know, work 8 hours a day and you've got to watch the soaps, you've got to do this, so there's not enough time to think about anything else, you know. And that's
distraction.
And that little time, all you do is think about your own little world, and little, you know, don't look out there. That's how the whole world I see is walking around like that. You know?
So what they do is
no one's looking up.
They inject your little bubble with lots and lots of things for you to think about. But you're not looking outside of your bubble.
You don't look up like that.
And if you never do that, they've got you.
Yeah, and it's even the physical sense now with the phones. Everyone's like that, down like that, constantly.
Even the restaurants, you know, couples are not even talking to each other. They're just on their phones.
I mean, I don't want to sound hypocritical. We're all got phones, but it's just knowing and being understanding, and you know, I purposely. You know, I don't engage on my phone a lot at all. No. You know, because I don't want to be overly distracted with stuff. You know, if it beeps in pocket, I'll quick look at and then that I don't. I'm not. You know,
I agree with you.
I just no. I try not to be too much into like technology too much. You know, where it's there to engross you and not, you know. Television. I don't watch television much no more. You know, I don't. You know. I'm even thinking of, you know, TV, lowering it down a bit. You know, I've got BT and that. I thought I don't really need it. Let's go down to basics and that'll do. Don't want it anymore.
That's it.
Don't see the value of it anymore.
No, I'm the same. I use the phone if I need to. I watch the occasional DVD. On TV, and that's it really. I don't get involved in the distraction that it causes.
No, I certainly don't.
The thing is, when you understand the game, you understand the rules.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't even watch now. I used to watch documentaries on telly about history, and I don't even do that because I don't trust it. I don't trust it to give me the right version. Even on history, even the fringe of telling me, because it's still control. It's still control. You know, you don't get the truth from there. You don't get it. You know, you might get bits of it, but.
Well, every time I watch Egyptian programs, you know, they tell you that the pyramids are there for the burials of pharaohs. They've never even found one in there. So it's nothing to do with burials of pharaohs. They were buried in Luxor, you know, the golden light. It's nothing to do with burials. So why are they telling you this? It's false. You know, why is the pyramid locked north? Because the cardinal points. It's to do with wisdom and logic. Why is the Sphinx pointing east? Because he's the guardian of the sacred knowledge, and east in cardinal points. His illumination, his enlightenment. These things are there for specific reasons. But some of the dross that comes out as to why these things are there is it's just like it's got to the point where I can't actually watch them.
Yeah.
Because I'm chewing the remote control. It's
I watch these things now on the like Discovery, and they always kind of leave it as, oh, it's a mystery. It's still a mystery, you know. We're still trying to find out stuff. We're still trying to, you know, and we've got the best people on it, you know. Really, you know.
Here comes Zoe Hawass.
Yeah. I think it's all how it's packaged and presented. You know, it's presented as factual, very factual. You know, these people who are the interviewing. If they do interview someone who's got the knowledge, they'll give him a split second, make him look like he doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And they'll present it like that, and then they'll have this guy who's very establishment having all the talk. You know, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Clever.
So this is, like you say, once you know, you can't. At the end, you just think, I'm not watching this. I'm not going to learn anything really from this. You know.
I just know it's wrong, and I can't tolerate things that I know is wrong.
Yeah.
It just makes you want to get on there and say something.
Yeah.
Because, but it just ends up just being frustrating.
No, it must be really exasperating for you when you.
It used to be. I think I've learned to deal with it now. I think.
That's what you're.
Yeah, I do. I deal with it a lot better than I used to. But it really was frustrating. I think when you start coming into this information, the first thing you want to do is cue the world, but you're not going to.
Yeah.
And that is a harsh, you know, bitter pill to take. You're just going to have to help the people who are going to be helped.
Exactly.
Because you can't cure the world. You know, there's just one person. But again, if that one person becomes two, which becomes three, which becomes four, then you've got a better chance.
Yeah. And this is again what we do. We know we're not going to change everyone's mind who's going to watch our interviews. We know that, but if you bring something to one or two people, then like you say, it's something in it. It's a start, you know.
It is.
And it certainly brings something for us in it every time.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, absolutely.
So we do it for ourselves as well, but we don't want to just do that, don't we? What's the point of doing it for ourselves when here we've got someone like yourself who has great knowledge. We should just keep this to ourselves, you know.
Yeah,
why should we?
Yeah.
Let's share. You know, this is what it's all about. Yeah, let's share this.
Share and learn.
It is. I mean, it's important that it is shared.
But
the thing is, to know this, you need a platform in which to share it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, I just wait to see some of the comments like this guy is confused, like the last one. But I wish they'd elaborate on what I'm confused about.
Yeah.
Rather than just making these, you know, cheap shots and then just disappearing.
Just sometimes you kind of comment back and you're ready for the next bit and you never comment. You're like, I'm ready for you. Like that.
Yeah.
They never comment back, so you think,
damn. I used to. I think now just ignore it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, if you're gonna, I've certainly had people before do that, and I've actually traced them back, and they are trolls.
Okay.
I've managed to trace them. People who have come on, created an account for themselves, blasted lots of people who are saying similar things on loads and loads of websites, and I've traced them back and actually identified them and said, "Hello, troll, how are you?" And they've just disappeared.
Okay.
So yes, I've had phones tapped, I've had emails stolen. Yeah.
I mean, I certainly think that on YouTube there's quite a number of people, probably paid agents to infiltrate these, and they will have probably great knowledge within the confines of convention, and use that to try and downplay these people who probably even like us who are on the verge of that, starting to learn, and they can kind of win the argument because they've got more backing from conventional, and I think that's I know there's a lot of that because I think I was tackling one. Do you know that Moon Eyes?
You're right.
It was.
It said that he lies. That Ben?
No, the one about 9/11. I was having long.
Oh, it's a long conversation.
And I could tell the way he was answering that he's done his own work, but it's all. And he kept saying, you know, with conspiracy theorists, you know, he just. He always beats him down, all that. So I thought, I'm having you like that. And I had the last say. I thought, I'm not letting him get away. But and I was looking at him, tracing him back, and I think he was a bit of a troll because there's nothing on his account. There's hardly anything on it.
Right.
And he had no followers, nothing, no subscribers, nothing.
So what they do is they create this account for themselves. Do as much damage as they can, and then they disappear. And
I've noticed all he does is do comments on it's well knowledgeable comments, but it's knowledgeable within the convention, you know, and that's what I think that's what it does. Whether he's been paid to do that, I don't know.
I think there are people to do it. The thing is that people who are just coming into this can soon get shepherded away from it by people like that.
Yeah.
Because they can get told they're stupid.
Because what we did with him, do you remember when I said, would you be prepared to have an interview with someone knowledgeable and skeptic against it? And he got a bit, and he got a bit. That's when he was kind of trying to
back away.
It's nice talking to you, because he was polite. He
wasn't swearing or anything.
No, that's why I think it was not like a random troll that just sweared at me and Trump. But he answered very diligently and very thorough, So I think it was probably a paid one. So I was quite proud of that one.
There's so much evidence though against.
This is it.
It's just the official story does not stand up.
No.
It just of
almost everything.
Understanding evidence and then taking evidence to court. If it doesn't stand up, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
The evidence will tell you. Those buildings were brought down by controlled demolition. Building 7. Most Americans do not realise about Building 7. That was brought down. So you've got 2 planes allegedly bringing down 3 buildings. Controlled demolition. People being told not to go to work on the 23 LO, which is 9/11. You had 4 blasts.
You've got numerology again, haven't you?
Numerology. You got the spiritual victory of Judaism, which is the 4 blasts of the shofar horn, and there were 4 blasts on 9/11. You got the orbit of Saturn, which is 30 years, that started in 1971 and ended in 2001. And it was, as the second plane hit, it was going into the 8th house of astronomy, which is the house of death.
Wow.
You have all of these things that are going on.
Yeah.
And that's before we even start on the physical evidence.
Yeah. And I mean, with 9/11, that it stacks up to the rim, doesn't it? I mean, there's so much, I think it's to the point where skeptics, there's just not enough for them to skepticize on it. There's just it's too much. We can't. Just give up. Just give up.
No, but then there's only the argument of controlled demolition or the real story. Or the thermite, or the energy weapon. That's all the arguments that happen, and But
then that's it. Then there's arguments within the truth movement about 9/11. This is what you get into. It's crazy. Really.
Yeah, I just don't like the argument stuff. I think it should be just get on civil and. But
it's easy to get drawn into it, but the problem is
find the truth together.
Find
the truth together, get the evidence collected together. That's what it's.
I mean, you can be arguing with somebody for days and days and days over something that's completely irrelevant. And it's easy to get drawn in, but I don't anymore. I'll just delete them or just move on. I'm really not interested. I think it's easy to get too distracted by infighting. And then there's so many, these truth movements, and you got different schisms. You got the EDL who claim to be all English, but then the flag of St George is Egyptian, the Union Jack is Egyptian. You got, what is English? They don't understand. They champion all these causes, but they don't understand what they're actually championing because it's not English; it's from somewhere else. If you understand the origins of these things, then maybe you can wake up and not do it. But it's just easy to get too distracted, and I don't do that anymore.
I mean, I even think there's, it's obvious, really, even in the truth, there's disinformation to get you, even within that, it's...
Of course there is,
You've just got to have your wits about it a little bit, haven't you, really? It's all part of it.
I think it comes with experience.
Yes,
you can fight too many battles, and then you realise, you're tired.
I mean, me personally, I always keep an open mind, and if something changes my mind on something, I'll go with it. If it comes to a point where actually no, I just let myself, what agrees with you,
good feeling. Definitely.
I think if you just close yourself to one version of it, then you know better than anyone that is believing the official story.
If you don't look for the truth because you believe you found it, then you might as well go to church, or you might as well go to a synagogue or a mosque, because that's exactly, they believe they found the truth.
They
don't need to look anywhere else.
You're constantly learning, even with something you think you've cracked, sometimes sometimes you have cracked it and you've got, but there's probably elements you probably haven't. You're still learning.
Still learning.
You know, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Really? It's amazing.
Yeah. Can I go back to Egypt again? Because I'm
Yes,
still interested in a lot of things.
Because that was the initial. Yes.
No, we're going to go off a little bit, but I'd like to go back to Egypt again because I have lots of interest in that sort of things, and I've seen like hieroglyphics. I think put it up on videos as well, where it's been like they say that the hieroglyphics been fallen off, like the plaster's fallen off or something, and it's revealed like saucer or torpedo. Sorry, no, not about that anyway. But about like there's like a submarine, a helicopter, or a plane. Type stuff. So, did they see into the future? Do you think, or do you think they? Time is irrelevant sometimes. I think sometimes you could be past, present, and future all at once. So I don't know. What's your take on? Have you seen those hieroglyphics? Do you know what I'm on about?
Talking about Temple of Abydos and things like that with the helicopter looking thing. Yeah. I think that they were at the advancement that we are, but not the mainstream advancement.
Right.
Because we are told, this is what we can do. When really what's in the mainstream is 100 years beyond what's really going on behind closed doors. I think they were at the advancement that the secret technology is at now.
Right.
And certainly in relation to the helicopter, when you look at Helios, the sun, Heli, Copter is Coptic, Christian, Egyptian. So again, you're looking at sun worship as well.
Okay.
So I think they're talking about the transit to the sun gods, and I think they're talking about the transit between the two worlds.
Right.
And I think certainly when you look at the likes of Teote, the Egyptian god, Teote comes from thought, and it's all to do with a sort of neuropsychological awakening because he's a transmitter of information. And you will see Teote often on a boat with a monkey. What the monkey is the olfactory tract inside the brain, which is olfactory consciousness, and that is basically the nerve signalling. So you have all these hieroglyphics that are again telling you about yourself and telling you how these Christ consciousness and these consciousness fusions through the balance of opposites are actually working.
Right.
So a lot of the hieroglyphs are actually telling us the same things as the pyramids are. That they're telling us about ourselves, which comes again from the Gnostic teachings, and Gnostic means to know, or it's knowledge of the divine. So they're all telling you the same thing. So whether it's a big 449-foot monument or whether it's a hieroglyph, they're basically telling you their advanced state of consciousness.
Right. Brilliant. In regards to I saw a film once with Kurt Russell, Stargate. Do you think that the Egyptians did ever discover a Stargate, and do you think Stargates even exist now?
They do exist. And again, it's just a doorway between dimensions. So if you can walk through that door, you can walk through that door.
Right.
If you know where they are, you can go. There are guardians on some of them. So you have to be at a certain level of vibration to actually access.
Right.
And I think that is why orbs and whatever could become pure light, because they can get through stargates much easier. Right. But yes, they do exist. There are probably quite a few of them as far as I can ascertain. And if you know where they are, you can get through them. The Egyptians certainly practiced going to the other world, and they did that through their initiations and their ceremonies, and through their vibrational enhancement.
Right.
So that they were able to leave body and go elsewhere.
So the Egyptians knew far much, didn't they, than mainstream's telling us. Of course,
Oh yeah.
This is why we've got. This is why it's got to be out there, isn't it?
Is that also part of the because some of the schools that they found they're like elongated schools.
Yeah.
Is that?
There seems to be some. I mean, they say that there's members of the Syrian race that have elongated skulls, and a lot of humans were trying to mimic by embalming different skulls so it would glow to mimic the elongation. So that they could well be Syrians. And again, if you look at the connection between Isis and Sirius A and Sirius B, which is Nephthys in Egypt, which is the invisible sister, there's some suggestion that, Sirius A is the mother of our solar sun, and that was the original Mary and Jesus, which was Isis and Horus, and they're in a binary. And with what's called the Doppler effect, with colours of stars through vibration. when Sirius goes away from the sun, it's red, and when he comes back, it's blue. And then we start getting to the Hopi Indian Kachina prophecy about the blue and red star Kachina. So it's talking about a time where Sirius is either going or coming back. The whole sign of the Declaration, Philadelphia. Philae is where the temple of Isis is, and Delphos is the womb. So Isis is the goddess of the womb. On the 4th of July, Sirius A is the furthest away from our sun, it's outside. And they wanted to commemorate it into American history. When we look at the Oval Office, that is the pituitary gland, that is Isis, that is the womb. Memphis used to be the original capital of Egypt, and Memphis means white walls. We have a White House. The hot dog. In July and August, the Egyptians used to sacrifice a dog to appease the heat. That was known as Dog Days. That is the hot dog. So the whole principle of American culture, the eagle, everything comes from Egypt. When we look at the River Thames, it used to be called the River Isis. When we look at the House of Parliament, Big Ben, it comes from Ben Burnett stone, which is the pyramid capstone. So we have everything. It comes from this advanced culture.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's also, go back to symbolism as well. I remember, because it was on about the mini sign and things like that. And what was going in my head and going back a little bit on that one. And there was one where the snake is eating the person. I think it's Alpha Maria. And that, do you know anything about that and what it stems from? Or?
I looked into it a long time ago, and I think it goes back to sort of reptilian races and things like that. Again, in terms of Egypt, the serpent would be the balance of opposites, or the wisdom, the Kundalini wisdom. But you also have the serpent goddesses as well, and the serpent goddesses like Nekbet and Wajid, where you see on the headdress. Those were the goddesses of Upper and Lower Egypt, and what that is telling you is two opposites balanced by the pharaoh, who was commander of the two lands. So again, we're looking at equilibrium and balance. So I've not really found anything in relation to the Egyptian in relation to Alpha Romeo. But I think what I looked into a long time ago was going back to potential sort of reptilian races a long time ago. But there's so many different brand logos. I mean, you've got Nissan, which is the Passover, so the sun's coming over the equator. Nissan means April, which is when Easter and things like that. So there's all these logos. If you look at, many sort of designs, the E will be distinctively different, like on Dell and whatever. That's because E is the number 5. Number 5 is the E, that's realised man. So again, you have all this symbology of consciousness within brand names and logos.
There's nothing in ours, is there?
No.
Wow, that was an incredible talk. We've got to have more talks, Mark. We can, further this discussion and more discussion. We've got so much to talk about, haven't we? But it's been brilliant you coming today, and you've certainly opened our mind and eyes even further. I look forward to your talk on Thursday as well.
Yes,
And we hope we can have the pleasure of your company again and have another talk. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mark,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, anytime.
Thank you very much.